Hi friends, Mali Pompadit here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. We are interviewing 1,000 champions of change this year. That's our goal. And this evening we have Tomette with us, and we are so appreciative of her being a part of our global initiative. Thank you so much, Tomette, for being with us this evening.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'd love for you to start by sharing who you are in the world, the work that you're doing, and how you're creating impact.
Well, who I am in the world today, in terms of my job, is I work now in the intelligence community. And so I just kind of transferred my skills over to a different community set. That's business development. And so my primary focus is to sell solutions and services into the federal government. And now I do it for the intelligence community. So I'm really pleased to be able to support the warfighter at the speed of war. So some really exciting dynamic work.
Wow. Well, that's complex. And we won't ask too many questions about that so you don't get in trouble for sure.
I appreciate that.
Would you mind sharing some anecdotes or perhaps an example or two of where compassion and love and empathy and mentorship showed up in your life to help transform the woman you are today or the way you operate in life?
Absolutely. So I think what comes to mind is as a 19-year-old kid, I recall getting married really early in life, having a baby really early, 19 years old, still in college. So had the baby on the weekend and went right back to school then that Monday.
Wow.
Crazy, crazy. But I recall when we talk about compassion, I was raised as a Christian, and so part of our faith dictates that we are givers and give when it's not comfortable, give when it is out of the realm of even thinking about giving. And so we were made to give even as children. And so at 19 years old, I strapped my baby on my back and books on the front and stopped by a place called the God Squad. That's right, the God Squad. And it was a place that really provided food and small services for women and children of need. It was supplemental to anything that they would receive from the county. But I went down there to volunteer. My brother-in-law was actually the founder and director of the God Squad. He's a reverend, so Reverend Donald Brown, and he's now deceased, but left a legacy of for the youth, not only at Rutgers University, but in his own personal life. Amazing man. So I got in there and I was helping them do the Thanksgiving baskets. It was Thanksgiving time. And I remember there's this little small voice in the back of my head saying, give all, give everything, not just your time, but your money. Well, at 19, I had $5 in my pocket. I was a college student and a new mother and a newlywed. So $5. I held on to that five until after I was done stuffing all the Thanksgiving baskets, knowing full well that I did not have food myself. And knowing that this was the last $5 I had in my hand for gas, I went ahead and walked over to one of the gentlemen that worked there, Donnie Bowling, and I said, Donnie, I wanted to donate my $5. This was at the end of everything. Everyone had gotten fed except I had nothing, right? Of course, nobody knew, and I wasn't going to say that because I was kind of ashamed of that, but nevertheless, I was going to give. And so Donnie said to me as I turned around and walked out the door, he said, hey, wait a minute. Do you have food? And I said, me? He goes, yeah, you. I said, no, I don't. I said, and actually I have a friend that doesn't have food for her family as well. She's another college student that was from a very large family. And he said, wait a minute. And I'm telling you, Malay, he packed up my car, the folks there packed my car full of food. I had 2 or 3 turkeys and so much canned food that I could not even barely carry it, fit it in my car. Drove over to my girlfriend's house, dropped off, fed all of her 8 people in that house, and still had more than enough for myself. And oh, by the way, Donnie gave me that $5 back and said, why don't you hold on to this? You might need it.
What a
And
beautiful story.
that right there, it transformed my life. It let me know that, um, yeah, giving has its rewards, and that God in the universe is watching. And there is a delicate accounting system that goes on, I believe, in the spiritual realm. And it's my job to really, walk out the life that I want to see in others, be the solution and not the problem. So.
Ooh, I love it. Thank you for sharing such a personal story. That gave me chills. Thank you so much. Wow. Well, as we talk about change agents and community builders and compassionate beings, when you do think of champions for change, what characteristics or attributes come to mind that are consistent as you witnessed it through your life?
So I was blessed and fortunate to still have this wonderful person in my life. That's my sister, Dr. Ella Brown Hughes, who also at Rutgers. You're starting to see a theme there. The whole family went to Rutgers, right? But Ella was a career counselor. She was also a graduate of Rutgers. Um, and she was a career counselor, but she was sought after for the primary reason of being able to talk to minority students, women, and all minorities. What she realized was there was a gap in those students who were graduating with degrees and still could not lock in corporate jobs.
Mm.
And she thought, this is wrong. So she developed a company called MECA. And if I recall, the acronym stands for Minority Exploration Committee on Careers Associated. And in that, she was the Mecca where all minority students at Rutgers University came in and was able to have an entree to corporate America. So we invited corporate Lockheed, you name them, all the big companies that you know today, that you see today. Many of those large, big companies were at these events year after year. I'm talking over a decade.
Wow.
Okay. Ella transformed Rutgers University. And there's still yet anyone close to my age, or went to school, at Rutgers, will say, "Oh, I know your sister. Oh, she helped me get this job, and she helped me do this, and she bridged the gap." So she was a transformer before there were transformers of lives. And I just used to sit at her heels and just listen to her create opportunity for other people and create opportunity for herself, and saw her walk that out. So her life was that example of what it looks like to be in service 24/7. And to her, I have a debt. I just owe her a debt I can't repay, because she showed me what it looked like and the sacrifice it took to be a community leader and make a difference.
Fantastic. Well, how do you continue to build community with your life experiences, with all the skills that you've been able to develop over time, and with your unique gifts that came with you? How do you pay it forward? And are there specific causes that you really care about that you want to spotlight?
So there were a couple as I was coming up. So I had a theater background. I went to school for theater first, and then my mother, of course, informed me she was not paying for a theater degree, and I had to quickly shift to business because she said, "Well, theater is a business." I said, "Yes, it is." She said, "You might want to think about something else that will, while you're trying to become a star, you should maybe think about having something that will bring money in." And it made sense to me, and that was our negotiation. And so I really started focusing as much on business. But because I have a theater background and have done it for many years, I started in May of 1990. I believe it was the first Black theater that existed in Northern Virginia. We did something unique with it, though. I wanted to not only create opportunity for minority performers, because I've been performing for so many years, that it was hard for us to get jobs as Blacks, especially then. And or we were all fighting over the same job. And, you know, and we could all run it down: ain't misbehaving, bubbling brown sugar, you name it. Those are all the ones that we could really perform in regularly, but, you know, it may not be my turn this year. So meanwhile, you have all this talent, and it gets wasted. You know, you kind of revving your engine. So I came up with the concept of Sojourn. And Sojourn was a theater and television production company that I formed in May of 1990 that really focused on grassroots being able to address in a theatrical format the ills and the isms of what we deal with daily: child abuse, homelessness, AIDS, uh, illiteracy, interracial dating. Um, what does it mean to be gay? You know, we we dealt with stuff before it was popular or in vogue. But I wrote the television shows, I wrote the stage shows, and then I trained performers. I didn't just want actors that I got off the street. I didn't want trained performers. I wanted real people who I could train, that could deliver the messages and that we wanted to say about some basic things like love, understanding, um, hope, um, that it wasn't necessarily black or white, but because it was a forum that I knew we needed for minorities as well, it became a launching pad to be able to communicate to those specific agencies, help organizations, that we're here. We wrote television shows specific to child abuse, specific to spousal abuse. And then I get on the phone and call the agency and say, hey, I just wrote a show about something you care about. I think we need to talk. And that's how I built that community around that, to the point that we are in we went to the schools, we are in the universities, we did full stage productions, we did workshops, but it was always dealing with the ism that was not popular. And I was able and had the freedom to be able to say it like I wanted to say it without someone monitoring what I really wanted to communicate about, you know, AIDS, about, and that was while I came out. So I had an open door to speak my mind through theater and through the gifts that these other young folks and older folks, you know, came. So you could watch our show at 6 o'clock every Sunday night. And my goal was to get the family around the TV. What ended up happening was I got a large teenage population who could articulate to you back every character I ever did. I mean, they would stop me in the stores, and so it was wonderful. It was transformational for those who participated, as well as those who watched. So it's good stuff. So that's how I gave back in the day. Today, the other area that I'm concerned about, so it's always women, children, in underserved communities specifically is where my heart is. The other place that my heart is with veterans. I realize that a lot of these veterans, as they transition out of the military, aren't prepared to negotiate, aren't prepared to speak to their strengths. And one of the things I learned way back in Mecca, right? I'm pulling from my sister, what I learned there was that we had to give voice to those folks. And by teaching them, educating them about how to negotiate and how to interview effectively, thereby I can lend myself in that area. And so I just so happened to walk into this most recent job and got the opportunity to teach at TAP again. But this is different, not just, you know, interview people and say, hey, I work at ABC company, we have job openings. No, now they gave me an opportunity to actually train people. And I thought, maybe I can take theater, remember Sojourn, mix it with my business knowledge. I'm trying to bring my lives together. And what does it look like when you put the two of them together? And now I can use theater as a catalyst for change for the lives of these veterans that are transitioning to corporate America. Wow. And so I wrote the first training and delivered that last year at the Pentagon. And in fact, my next training is coming up. So it's so great to see these guys walk in so, you know, structured and so rigid, and then I have them acting. Okay. So what is an interview? An interview is just what we do. Hi, my name is Tomette. This is what I do. Here's the value that I add. That's the same thing that actors are trained to do. We play a role.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see the light bulb go off, and the exercises I take them through are the same acting course classes I went through, the same. I just gleaned from everything that I learned from theater and business and said, now you are the performer, you're watching me perform, and then I need you to perform, and then I need you to give me feedback on what you see, what you saw. Because every interview is different. So they may be acting against with me, and then I'll throw something in there at them, and then they'll go, and I'll say, no, 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 keep rolling. We're not stopped, because in interviews you can't say stop.
Wow.
So the
Wonderful.
beauty of the beauty of utilizing theater again as a catalyst for transformation, for change in the lives of others, they get it. They see, wait a minute, what do I do all day? I'm acting. When I go home, what am I do? I have a role to play. I get it. So that's the beauty of being able to use all of my life now and
Well,
continue to do so.
wonderful that you're able to merge all the aspects of who you are, and finally through your work be able to bring all of you to the table, which is what every human being desires and aspires to do in this lifetime, right? To be all of who you are. So congratulations on that. I'd love to now ask you about some empowering quotes or a philosophy or motto that you live by that helps move you forward when times aren't so happy and fun.
Right. Well, I was looking at I left my office today, and I thought, let me jot down a couple of things. First of all, in my office, I have these two things written on my whiteboard. And I did this because I need to see it every day. I need to feel it every day. And that is the first thing that I wrote. We teach what we know, but we impart who we are. We teach what we know, but we impart who we are.
I
So
love
that's one.
it. Wow, it's good.
The other thing, the other one, I'll share with you because I think it's very important, because this whole form that you've come up with, that is, I think, you're onto something. There's a blessing in this, because I so believe in what you're doing with this forum, because leadership is critical. And what we've lost along the way is conscious leadership. We've lost. It's always now the bottom line. And I think that if you take care of your customer, if you take care of your people, the bottom line will take care of itself. I believe that, and I live that every day. This thing that I say, I remind myself when I'm getting a lot of pressure to, make it happen, and I don't care what happens. I don't care if you have to, whatever you do, it doesn't matter, ethical or not, do it, and I've had those challenges. But here's my answer to that, and I put this on my whiteboard no matter where I go, and that is, there is nothing better than excellence, not even success. Nothing better than excellence, not even success.
Very poignant quotes, words, and philosophies to live by for sure. I have one final question for you, Ms. Tomette, and that is, what does a better world look like through your eyes?
Well, I think a better world looks like, through my eyes, if we would all just turn inward and do the work that is here to do. We would be easier on other people as well. We would maybe cut ourselves some slack, because we got a lot of stuff. Like they say, junk in the trunk. It's not in the trunk, it's in here. It's in here, I promise you. And if you do the work in here, then your view, what you see when you open your eyes, will look differently. Less judgment, less accusing, less anger, less hatred. So I believe, when we talk about being change agents, that the world would be different if we went to work, we did turn the eyes inward and just went to work on ourselves. That in and of itself is more than enough. This is enough. So I leave that with you, and
Thank,
I encourage everyone to do that work. Do that work.
thank you so much. What great insights. I'm really blessed to know you. I appreciate you saying yes to this global initiative as we aspire to connect with 1,000 community builders. I know there are millions of us out there. If we can just give them voice and spotlight the goodness and the greatness of their ripple effect, I think it would be a transformed world, even if that means it's a transformed community first that has this ripple effect to impact other communities and other communities and other communities. Thank you for your time. For those that are watching, we appreciate you for tuning in. Please nominate yourself or someone in the community. Now let's say that differently. Nominate yourself and someone in the community that is creating such great impact that you would love to spotlight. Let us know if you would like to know more about what's inside Nebula, what is the platform, why do we exist. Please contact us. Visit us at nebula.soar, SOAR, communitynetwork.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will talk to you very, very soon, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye now.